Welcome to your favorite podcast, the place where your potential climbs to new heights, one podcast at a time. All right, so in this segment, we're gonna talk about the topic, the oldest in the pack. Both me and Barania and our family were the oldest sibling, and so we wanted to touch on this topic. And yeah, so we're gonna start on being the first in the eyes of your parents versus the eyes of your siblings. So how do you think your parents saw you being the oldest?
I think how my parents saw me was more like that I had to take responsibilities. Maybe they didn't say that, but I was the one that like helped the most. And in their eyes, I had to help. It was like no exception. Like,
yeah,
it's either you help or you help.
I think so too. So if you're the oldest in your family, just comment down below, give it a like. Because I can agree with that too. Being the oldest, they looked up to me, especially having immigrant parents. Like when I started school, they'll be like, "Oh, what are they saying? Can you translate it for me?" Or I got this letter and stuff like that. So I guess that's the helping part. And
I remember because I was born in California and we came here, but in California everybody speaks Spanish. So when we came here to Chicago, the suburbs, my mom's like, okay, well now you have to go. So she would throw me. And I think that's like when I started becoming fearful of people, because she would just throw me under the bus like, okay, ¿qué dijeron? What are they saying? I'm like, I don't know. Because I still was learning English as well. So it was it scared me. And I think that kind of came through the years until like I kind of was like, okay, I can't be scared all the time to talking to random people, like at Target. Like I wouldn't want to ask a question, but she'll make me. So then that kind of was in my head all the time. Like, I don't want to ask anything. I will find it myself. So in a way, in my situation, it kind of took me back to like a fear state more, and not more of like a brave state. I'm not sure why that happened, but I overcame that. But yes, you're right. Our parents did ask for a lot, because for my brother, it was like, no.
Especially being in a new, like I mentioned before, we have immigrant parents, so being in a new country when you don't know the language, and it can be tough even for both of us too.
Yeah.
I remember when I started school, it was bilingual school, so I was like, Spanish and English, learning English along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but not everything was in Spanish for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No.
I guess also, well, like my friends, I guess I see it now because that I was gonna be like the example for my kind of like the guide for my siblings, because they're like, I was the first one to finish school, go to college, and also like start working. So I guess that's what they expected for me to show them. So
But what about like your siblings?
for my siblings, I guess I tried my best, because I guess even my sister would say, "Oh, you're like my second mom." And I do see it, and I remember, because we are like we have a big age gap. Me and my sister are like 10 years apart, and my brother were like 8 years apart. So I remember, my mom was a working mom, and my dad too, so I had to take care of them. So I couldn't really do after school stuff. Or I remember in high school, I just did like a little bit of soccer and like softball, because the other years I wasn't able to do it because I had to get out of school, come home, get my brother, get my sister from school, and take them home to take care of them. Before my mom would get home from work.
I guess with my brother, not that we have a big age gap because we're only like 5 years apart, but my mom as to being our mom, she has a big age gap. Like for us, like I'm the oldest, and she's like in her 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she couldn't really stay relatable to what was going on in our younghood. So it's like, you tell them. Like she would always come to me till this day, like, oh, talk to your brother. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. Not anymore, you know, because it's like, okay, now he's older. There's no need for me to be, you know, behind him. But in the sense of when we were young, yes, definitely I was like a mother figure. He would even say, like, she's my second mom. And like, I guess like for my brother, I just wanted to be a good example. And I wouldn't do certain things so that me thinking if I don't do these things, like, you know, he's gonna follow my footsteps. And then years later, you know, we have conversations and I'm just like, I didn't do certain things because I'm like, I want to be a good example for you. And then he, you know, he just laughs, and we just laugh it out now. But it's just funny how us being the oldest, we want to be a good example for our little
I think so too. Like, you know, you kind of take it in your mind. You're like, oh no, like I'm the oldest. Even to my older, my son, I tell him, hey, you're the oldest. You gotta take care of your sister, or you gotta just be there for her. You know, protect her because, well, he's the boy, so, and she's the little one, the little girl. So, you know, you kind of make the boy a protector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're also like the oldest girls, because I feel like if we would have been the oldest boys, we would have been treated different too.
I think so too. Yeah. To bring like Louis, my husband's example, I remember him. That he mentioned that he was like, oh, protecting his brother and like taking care of him and stuff, and like, I guess so. Yeah, and even well now, like his mom doesn't really go to him for her stuff. Like, you know, they come to me now. Aww. Like they'll be calling me and be like, hey, can you call here and do this, or can you figure this out? And you know, I don't mind it. And so
that's sweet. That's sweet. My mom does that with Jose sometimes. Yeah. She'll be like, can you read this? And not that I don't want to read it, but I guess she's just like, I went to her so many years, let me go to someone else. That's not my brother. But
yeah, they won't really bother our siblings for other stuff.
They don't come to us. Or maybe they try and it didn't work out, so they're like, okay, we'll just keep going to the eldest one.
I think so too, cause well, my sister is the youngest of us three, but I feel that since I already left, she's the one doing that stuff for my mom, like whatever it is with the phone, you know, because my parents are like kind of bad with technology, so my sister's like, my mom's like, oh, ¿qué dice aquí? Or what does it say here? Can you tell me how to log into this stuff? Like, and my sister's there doing it, and my brother.
But I do wonder, like, if it's just like a girl thing. I mean, you know, the Hispanic community, like, I noticed, like, with my cousins, like, the girls are the ones, even though they're not the oldest ones, they're the ones helping out. It wasn't like the oldest boys. Like, they weren't the oldest, and they were still the ones. So I don't know.
That could probably be a cultural thing.
Maybe.
You know,
because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like...
Yeah, now that I think about it too.
And, I mean, I'm not saying it's in every case, but I, like, do notice, like, in a few of my aunts and their kids, it was, like, the girl. And they weren't the oldest ones. I guess they feel like we mature faster.
Yes, we do.
I mean, my mom says it. Can't tell her she's wrong.
Yes. Because the women are always right, guys.
Yes.
So,
what about responsibilities?
So, I think responsibilities that we still carry, that our party siblings won't do, is the same thing, being the helper of the family, you know. Till this day, anything that my parents need, or like, I guess I'm helping them out, like filling out applications, stuff like that, they come to me to do it, and they won't bother my siblings for it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
I know. Even though we're like already out of the house and like married and like have to control our handle our family and our home, they still come to us.
Yeah, definitely. My mom, and I think in that sense, like, I feel like they really believe it's our responsibility. This is what my mom says. She says, and I tell her the same thing for other situations. She's like, who do you want me to go to? The neighbor? She's like, I can't go to the neighbor for these things. You're my daughter, so you have to help me. So I'm like, okay. And it's not that I don't want to help her. It's just that I want her to, like, go to my brother. Like, he's there. You know, watching it, hi. Like, you know, like, he's there. He should be more helpful because he's at home. What about if I no longer live? Like, what would happen? You know, and I told my mom that. I'm like, what about if I pass away? Like, who's going to help you? Yeah. Jose? You know, I you know. Probably. So in a sense, as an older, like, sister, I feel like, and another thing, I don't know if it's a common thing or it happened to you. Like, is your brother the favorite?
Yeah.
In my my situation, my brother is babied. He doesn't want to be babied. Okay. So he says. He doesn't want to be babied, but my mom babies him too much. So I don't know if that, like, how that protection that a mother gives to the son, if that kind of enabled them to not, you know, they were enabling that situation. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's just the Hispanic community is very interesting when it comes to that, you know, and that's what happened with us. So he was babied a lot. So all the responsibilities is like me. So now he's not a baby anymore. But you know, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in my area, I see it that I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I'm home with my kids, and I, you know, take care of the house and stuff. I guess I do see it that I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to, like, you know, have food ready when my husband gets home, or at least have his clothes clean, have the kids dressed, bathe them, and stuff like that. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, we just kind of like, I guess automatically we're just like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I see it too with my mother-in-law. She also, you know, she doesn't work as well, but she takes care of the house. She has everything ready for her husband. And then in my mom's, she works. She's a working person, and when she gets home, she knows that she has to have dinner ready. She goes to laundry and has the house clean. So I don't know. It's just something that I don't know.
I guess, like my husband says, we're superwomen.
Yes, we are.
We just take the responsibility, period, I guess, in every area.
Yeah.
And our men are lucky.
They are. You guys are lucky.
Blessed.
Yes.
Because it's hard.
Yeah,
so
because
not only do we have to be the oldest siblings, but then we have to be mothers and wives too.
Yeah, because I know that even with, like, learning how to cook, my mom taught me, and I know that my husband's mom didn't teach him to cook anything.
Yeah.
His sister, which is, she's not even the oldest or anything, but she's a girl, and she knows how to cook, but not her brothers.
Yeah, well, you see, in my household, I guess I was baby too, because we didn't do anything. I didn't cook. I would just sit on the counter next to my mom
and just watch her.
And just watch her, just talk to her. And I would tell her, I'm like, but you know why she's very, like, tidy? So I asked her, I'm like, why didn't you, like, tell me to clean or do my clothes, or, you know? She's like, because she's like, I like everything tidy. She's like, so I felt like if I gave you the responsibility, it wasn't gonna be how I liked it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good excuse, you know, because then I didn't learn to wash my own clothes until I moved out of my house. And that was until, like, I was 23. And I'm not embarrassed. My mom babied me and I loved it, and we didn't have to do anything. I would have to clean my room.
That's all.
That's it. But my brother, no. Till this day, she still wants to clean his room. And he's like, no, Mom, get out of here. I'm like, can she just come and live with me? You can clean my room.
No, yeah, that was different with me.
Yeah.
I did have to learn that stuff, and I learned. So yeah.
Yeah.
To take care of my family.
Well, now it's like I want to kind of instill that to Emmy, like, we have to be responsible, and I don't want her to be the one that, like, she'll tell me, Mommy, I'm always cleaning and Alina's not cleaning. I'm like, Emmy, like, when she gets older, like, she's gonna clean too. I'm like, don't worry, it's gonna be equal.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be as equal as possible, to hold them responsible for certain things, so that when they do grow up, they can be, not like complaining, like, I had to do everything,
Yeah, I get that part too. What about the expectations of being born first? What do you think that, like, maybe society or even your parents expected you to be?
I feel like with me, it wasn't just to go to school. Like, that was mainly my expectation. Like, I had to go to college after high school because I had to set the exam.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, as I said, I was babied and I was the firstborn. So, I mean, in that situation, I wasn't expected to, like, have a job. Like, my parents are like, you don't need to work. Like, just go to school and concentrate in school. But they didn't want to pay my cell phone. So I'm like, no, I need to work then. But if they would have paid my cell phone, I wouldn't have worked. But I'm happy that they didn't, because they showed me responsibility. They're like, I had to pay, my stuff and on time. And I think that really helped me even to, like, now. But definitely the expectations were not very high at my home. It was just like, concentrate in school, go to college, graduate, find a job. But other than that, that was it.
Yeah, me too. That expectation was there to get an education, mainly because, like, again, our parents were immigrants and they probably didn't go to school, and they came, they crossed the border and came over here to America to give us a better life and to take advantage of that stuff, not needing to. Because I know my parents, they started to work really young as little kids, and because the living situation where they're from, they did it wasn't like how we have it now. Even my dad, he's like, you guys are so fortunate. You guys have it. We didn't have a TV. We had, like, I don't know. We have all this technology and stuff like that, and like, you guys have all this stuff, and we didn't have anything. You guys are so fortunate, and yeah, we are, thankfully, and we thanks to them, they decided to bring us over here and give us that opportunity to prosper, and also for our kids now that we have our kids, we want that for them to be better than us as well.
Definitely. And that's what I told Emmy. I'm like, Mommy, I want you to be better than me. And obviously she's 5, so she understands, but like, she doesn't understand. Like, she's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what I told her, but she's like, Mommy, I'm not you or Daddy. I'm like, you're right, you're Emmy. I'm like, you have to be better than me. And then she's like she looked at me, she's like, okay.
I guess they don't understand yet until they see it.
Because she'll ask me, like, what does that mean? So I'm like, how do I simplify it? Because, like, how we're talking about our experience as being the first, Emmy and Mateo are gonna feel that way in the future. Like, how do they feel as the first? And I want them to feel good, and not that we were like on them. I feel like our parents were probably on us a lot. Like I told you, like, my mom would come with me to parties, and she would stay there. Like, because I'm a girl.
That's hilarious.
So not only was I the firstborn, but I'm a girl. So it's like I need to put you in this bubble and not let you do anything. But I thank her for that because I don't know what I would have done if she would have, let me. Yeah, like I hear other stories of other people and I'm like, yeah, you had a great time. But like, I mean, I put myself in situations where I shouldn't have been. And if she knew, she would not be happy. But I think that comes to like you were saying earlier, like we're being rebellious. We rebel.
Yeah.
Because of so much
I guess also being the oldest and that pressure could get to you as well because I remember me in like I guess high school, like going into high school, like ending high school, like at that time I was like I think I'm gonna go here.
Yeah.
And like don't tell my parents or I'll tell them I'm gonna go with like a friend or whatever, but end up going, with a boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, but you felt kind of bad. You're like, I'm being or like, oh man, if you didn't know all these stuff that I've done before, they would not be happy.
They would not be happy. And were your parents strict?
Tiny bit. Like not really. They were. Like if they let me out somewhere and then they expect me to like be home a certain time, I wouldn't.
Oh man.
But they weren't like super crazy strict.
Yeah.
They were just
my parents were very super strict. So I rebelled, but not in a bad way. I think it was a slight rebellion, and now I consider those things for our girls because I don't want to be super strict, but I appreciated that strictness because I feel like it got me out of trouble, like compared to like other people, like I did get in trouble, but I don't know. I guess when you hang out with the wrong crowd and like just remembering like some of the people like how what they were doing, I'm like, okay, good thing my mom pulled that leash. Like, no.
Yeah, because then, you don't really pay attention to what your parents tell you. They'll be like, oh, I don't like that friend. You shouldn't hang out with them. But you being rebellious and like, no, I want to be their friend. I'm going to still be their friend even if you don't approve.
Yeah. What about like being, I don't know if it happened to you, but like with me, you being the oldest and were they stricter on you than your siblings?
Yeah, I didn't really get to see it a lot because again the age gap between my siblings, I was already probably like working and like mainly working and they were probably still like in finishing high school and stuff like that, so I didn't really see it, but I guess yeah, like I know that now I know that they're not super strict on my brother, and my sister would probably be a little bit more, but still like not super.
So your brother's older than your little?
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, he's the oldest.
Yeah, that's one thing that I remember, like that me as the oldest, like there were so many rules, and then as my brother kept growing, like I remember coming home early one day, and then I remember my brother coming in at like 3 a.m, and I'm like, I looked at the time, I'm like, I would have been dead. Like my mom would have been downstairs with a chancla or something, like ready to go at me. And I remember telling my mom the next day, and she's like, shh, your dad's gonna hear you. I'm like, are you serious? And that was something that I did not appreciate. I don't know if other people can relate, but I'm like, when I get home and it's not even that late, you make such a big commotion so my dad can hear. But when when Marco comes, he comes in and then it's like, shh. So that's something that was a very like different for me, like us being older. And then my brother, I didn't like that there was not any fairness. Only because he's a boy and I'm a girl. And not necessarily because I was the oldest. It was just because I'm a girl.
Just because. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
because I guess as a parent, you want to be more protective of your daughter, you know, because most of our parents are old school, you know, and they want us to get married first, and then have babies and stuff like that. So I guess that makes sense, and I understand my parents for that. I understand your mom too for being like that.
I do, but at the time I did not. I'm like, why are you so unfair with me? But yes.
Yeah, because I don't know if so that brings us to our what we wanted to cover about this segment, the oldest in the pack. If you guys,
girl edition.
Yes, girl edition, because I think like you said, it was really different for us, and
I'm sure we'll get a different story from like.
If you guys want part 2, you guys want the boys version, because both of our husbands also are the oldest in the pack. Like and subscribe, or let us know in the comments if that's something that you guys want to hear. Our recent video is also gonna be up, so be excited for that one. Thank you.